Okay, I'm going to do one more update on the Yardstead before I get back to my normal format of videos. But, this has been a project. Today's July 9th, and things have been happening, and I just want to tell you about it. Really, my objective this year was to, build another grow bed and get some things put on, autopilot so that I don't have to come out here every day. And that's what I've been doing. I've been spending about 5 minutes a day, and then every now and then more like 15 if I have some extra stuff to do. But it's been really minimal, probably normally about 5 minutes a day with a few extra here and there. And things are happening. Here's the grow bed we just built. And I have the room. You saw these plants in my last update, but they've gotten bigger. So I've got green romaine and red romaine. And I've got some radishes. You notice a couple are missing because they ended up in my tummy. The turnips are doing really well. Just for the record, I like turnip greens. I don't like turnip root very much. But the beets, whose roots I like very much, are coming along. This marigold is looking pretty nice. And my bean plants are now in the stage where they're going to start growing really quickly. So I won't update you on those because they're beans. We all know what they do. They grow like beans. They're going to shoot up like rockets in a bit. In the next grow bed, I've got some things that are very small. These two little guys, these are butterfly peas. They're really interesting. And I've got another bean plant that is indeed starting to climb up its pole. So that's going to be fruiting soon. This lettuce gave me several servings, but now it's getting ready to bolt. And I'm just going to let it because it's going to give me a bunch of volunteer lettuce. Like what I had over here, I've been eating a lot of these little volunteer lettuce sprouts. I've got 2 rows of carrots, and I've got a third one under this 2x4. If you don't know that trick for planting carrots, either drop me a question in the comments or look it up. But the little 2x4 on top of carrot seeds works pretty darn well. That's how I started these other 2 rows. The cauliflower is, I don't really fully understand cauliflower, but it's coming along. I don't know if that flower is going to get dense, but I have had really bad luck with brassica plants in the past, so I'm just kind of letting it do what it wants to do for now. But all these little miniature lettuce plants, I've just been popping them out and eating them. I think they are romaine. They're all volunteers, so they just look like the romaine plants over there. Moving along to bed number 3. The kale is looking really good. I've actually been picking about as much of it as I can keep up with to either eat or dehydrate. So I've got more kale than I can really keep up with. This broccoli plant had a floret on it. I went ahead and chopped it off. I'm going to see if this is a cut and come again cultivar or not, because some of them are, some of them are not. We're just going to see. The beets are looking great. I don't see any crowns yet, but I am going to try and grow these to where I have beet roots to eat, not greens. This little area that was full of volunteer kale, plus arugula and lettuce and dandelions, I stopped eating it because it got a little too mature. I've been eating the kale, and I've got some little miniature beets that I planted recently. We'll see how they do. I ate all the lettuce that was over here, and I've replanted. We'll see how it does. And this cilantro bolted as cilantro plants do. As soon as it gets up below 0 degrees, I'm exaggerating, but cilantro really likes to bolt. And I've got another marigold. Okay, so let's move on to that little micro food forest. There are some things happening here, some things not happening as quickly as I would like them to. But my blackberry that I thought was dead has actually come back to life. I don't think I'm going to get any berries off of it this year. I have a Kajari melon plant out of the many Kajari melon seeds I got. This is the only one that sprouted. I've accidentally killed it twice, so it's hanging on to dear life. We'll see. I've got 3 bean plants here in the food forest that you can see I'm planting beans in multiple places just to kind of experiment, see what happens. I put some potatoes over there the other day. They haven't sprouted. Obviously, it would be weird if they did, but we'll see what happens. I've got more beans on this little tripod here. They're doing okay. It's just there's interesting variation between each bean plant. They're quite variegated in their performance, and I have a feeling that has to do with my very poor soil here, and it's very inconsistent. If you go back to when I built the greenhouse, you can see what this all once was. I've got a Minnesota midget melon here, which is blooming, which is weird because it's kind of small. I have another one there that never did sprout. So this one I started from a peat pot, and this one I just direct sowed. And conventional wisdom would say that that's the one that should have been outperforming, but it's the other way around. The one that I planted in the greenhouse in a peat pot is doing better. My apple tree is looking fantastic. It looks anemic, but that's because I pruned the heck out of it. I've got so many apples, and now it's me versus the squirrel. You can see I've got a little repellent ultrasonic thing. I don't know how well it's working, but I seem to have most of my apples. So we'll see how that goes. The strawberries I put as ground cover are doing okay. I put in some scallions from the grocery store, believe it or not, and they're still alive. So I don't know, hopefully between all of the measures, the squirrels will let me actually have some of the apples. Let's swivel around and look at the greenhouse. It's got a lot going on, some good, some not so good. This Roma tomato plant has got quite a few fruits, so it's going to feed me nicely. Most of my other tomato plants have been flowering but not fruiting. I think it's just too hot in here. My basil plant is doing quite well. This is some kind of chili, I don't remember what. My chilies have a tendency to leaf out and not fruit. Again, I think it's just too hot in here. Maybe next year. Basil's doing great. Oregano is doing great. Thyme is doing great. I planted a cucumber. I've heard that cucumbers love the heat, so we'll see how it does. More cucumber here. We'll see how it does. And a habanero plant is so-so. It's growing. It is growing, but it's not fruiting, so we'll see what happens there. Okay, so let's move on to the other little micro food forest. We've got some more things happening over here. As you can see, I've got more bean tripods. And the beans, just like in the other one, some are doing well, some not so much. But I just want to see how the various soil conditions impact these beans. I've got a kabocha squash here. Kabocha, is it kabocha technically a pumpkin or a squash or a gourd? I don't know, but they make wonderful soup. And then over here, this one is an acorn squash. The peach tree is very similar to the apple tree. I planted some strawberries around the base as ground cover. They are spreading slowly but surely. I don't think you can see them, but I've got probably about 50 little baby peaches in here. So far the squirrels are leaving it alone. I have a little pumpkin plant here that's doing pretty well. And I have another little ultrasonic repeller thing. Again, is it an expensive and ineffective toy? I don't know. But let's swivel around and look at the rest of the yard. I've got my honeyberries, which we got a few berries off of them, but they're not exactly the most prolific things in the world. I've got some little flowers to attract bees. They're doing so-so. They're doing okay. If I had it to do over again, I probably would not have planted honeyberries. They're nice bushes, but I only get 4 or 5 fruits off of each one. The raspberries, as usual, are making more fruits than I can keep up with. I get easily a half pint, sometimes a full pint every day. Same goes for the gooseberries. Thing is, if I had this to do over again, I wouldn't plant gooseberries. The berries are okay, but my God, they are hard to pick because they draw blood every single time I try to pick gooseberries. They taste okay, but it's not worth puncturing my finger. So over here, as you can see, I've got more cucumbers. I'm determined to do better with cucumbers than years past. The one on the right there is a Marketmore. Then I've got some Diamante cukes on the other sides, and hopefully at least one of the Diamantes will make some fruits this year. We'll see. This guy is a patty pan squash, and I've eaten a couple of fruits off that one. It was really more for show, and I had one good sized patty pan, so it's doing okay. Coming around here, I just planted another cucumber just a few days ago, so it hasn't sprouted yet. It would be weird if it did. Here is a zucchini plant. I've eaten one sort of decent sized zucchini. You know, with any of these cucurbit family plants, you want to pick the first couple fruits right away, because if you let them mature, that sends a signal to the plant that it doesn't need to make more of them. So if you want to maximize your harvest, pick the first few fruits, even if you don't let them get, in fact, you shouldn't let them get big. Pick them right away, and the plant will think that it needs to keep making more. Speaking of cucurbits, I've gotten more of the direct sown cucumbers, and then this cucumber is a lemon cucumber that's doing quite well. No fruits yet, but they will. Some more strawberries, and then my potato plants are looking great. I've got 8 potato plants here. You can't see all of them and you can't differentiate, but there are 8 little potato plants, and I feel like they're doing well. I also planted I planted a Minnesota midget cantaloupe in this pink guy. It hasn't sprouted yet. It would be weird if it did. Same goes for this planter. On the same day I planted some broccoli. It would be weird if it sprouted after 2 days. Basil's looking very nice, and this tomato plant is actually my best performing so far. It's just little hot 100s, and it's starting to make some fruits. I've got it trellised up. It's probably about 4.5 feet tall, and it's making some nice looking fruits, so that'll be happening by fall. And that brings us back to grow bed number 1. Starting in my next video, I'll be back to talking about food. So I'll probably update you again in a couple months about the Yardstead, but for now, that's all about the Yardstead. Thanks so much for watching. Hope to see you next time. Ciao.